Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790 AM, brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife and Resources Agency.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray. Good morning to all you folks in Brownsville on 1520 AM and 95.3 FM and News Talk 101.5 in Jackson, and, of course, here in Memphis on our flagship station, ESPN AM 790, 92.9 HD FM. And again, as we close in the final two segments of the show, do not forget, next week's show will be our 20th anniversary. 20 years since we first went on the air in the dungeon at 1960 Union Avenue, and Gene Smith was there. I think you had the flashlight, didn't you?
Yeah, I did, and candles.
Yeah, you had the candles, and I had the 8-track
right.
and things along that line. And Dave Gabbert came along. And now Dave is part of the team as a co-host, but this being fifth Saturday, always glad to talk to the Scott Williams, a very talented young man that spent a lot of time here in the Memphis area, not only graduated from the University of Memphis, but also spent many years at Graceland, but also is now, and I think one of the premier locations, if they ever get Interstate 69 completely done. It will even...
It's still gravel?
No, it's not still gravel. No, it's not still gravel. But he is the CEO and president of Discovery Park of America, but he's also a talented writer that really expresses himself through his journalism career at the University of Memphis, and that's Scott Williams. Good morning, Scott.
Good morning. How you doing?
We're doing great. So let's talk, before we talk about... what's going to Discovery Park of America, which you can go to my website, lroutdoors.com. We run all the press releases because there's so much going on at Discovery Park of America. But talk about this latest book. I mean, man, was this on the fire for a long time? Because this is it's the accidental fame and lack of fortune of West Tennessee's David Crockett.
Yeah. So I, started working here at Discovery Park of America. I had been at Graceland for, more than a decade, sort of on the periphery of some famous people, and then went up to Washington, D.C. and worked around some politicians and around government a little bit, and then came back here to Discovery Park and saw the statue of who I at the time called Davy Crockett.
Yes.
I was somewhat familiar, with the raccoon tail hat. And, I didn't really know who he was. I thought he was a character on a old black and white TV show.
Fess Parker. We thought he was Fess Parker or Daniel Boone, one of those guys like that. Okay.
Yep, that's exactly who I associated him with. And I knew there was something about Disney. And anyway, so I just wanted to find out how did this person who was from this area, who he was incidentally the only really big famous person associated with East, Middle, and now West Tennessee.
Yes.
So, I'm a West Tennessean, so I really wanted to view it through the lens of a West Tennessean, and he represented this area as I came to find out. So I just wanted to find out, how did he go from being someone that was one of hundreds of thousands of squatters and settlers and people who initially came to this area. How did he go from that to being somebody who, was worthy of a statue here at Discovery Park? So the more I dig and researched, and I found out there's a lot of people that had written biographies, and there's a lot written about him, but I wanted to sort of approach it. I didn't see very much about West Tennessee and about his relationship and the things he did for us here in West Tennessee. And through all of that, I got to know a lot of the people that were his friends that he associated with, like the mayor of Memphis and some of the founders of Jackson, Tennessee, and
yes.
It was just fun to find out more about this person that I had a completely wrong idea of.
And we find out that he would have been 235 years old on August the 17th. So why not throw a party for him? And what you guys are going to do, a day-long celebration on August the 14th at Discovery Park of America. And now the book has come along, and it has so many details in it about. And I didn't realize that he left Northwest Tennessee to go to Texas, and 5 months later, he was killed at the Alamo.
Right.
In
and
1835.
what's interesting is the Texans have seized upon Davy Crockett, and a lot of people think Davy Crockett was a Texan, when in fact he was only there, just a few months.
I did not realize that. Yeah.
He was here in Northwest Tennessee for 14 years. He was also, one of my favorite aspects of this whole thing is hunting, because he was such a hunter. He was all about hunting, and
he was.
In some cases to his detriment.
Yeah,
he spent a whole lot more time hunting than farming. And
he killed a lot of bears.
He killed a lot of bears. Now he also probably fibbed a little bit about the numbers. I think he exaggerated just a little bit.
Oh, you think he did? Oh, come on. He's a politician, I mean, what do you expect?
I thought only fishermen exaggerate.
Yeah, you don't think he carved in a tree, I killed a bar here in 18...
Yeah, what's interesting about him, though, is he exaggerated just a little bit, but then the people that wrote about him, he really represented, for people who were living, up in the East, he represented a Westerner, an American. And so, they really wrote more about him and kind of he evolved, and you can see it happening when you're doing the research. He evolved through the years from just a hero into a superhero. And so it's fascinating to see how his image really grew to outshadow the real man, both now, but also while he was alive. He was there to actually watch his brand get bigger and bigger and bigger.
And he had hardly any education. I mean,
right, he could barely write.
Barely write, and barely is a word with B-E-A-R, I think of him, bear. But
that's right.
I mean, to do what he did, and Scott gives all this details about him as a congressman, the state legislator. He represented Shelby County. Goodness gracious,
right.
One of the counties that he represented, and all we think about him is maybe John Wayne at the Alamo.
And one of my favorite stories about him is he decided that he needed some quick cash, so he hired some people to cut some trees here in Obion County while he went out hunting. And then when they got through cutting the trees, he was hoping they knew what they were doing, so they built a boat and they headed down the Mississippi River to go to New Orleans to sell all that wood. But he had miscalculated how talented they were at steering the boat, and it ended up hitting a big pile of trees on the Mississippi River out in front of Memphis, and they pulled him through the hole of the boat they were in and pulled all his clothes off. So there he was naked, and he got rescued and taken to Memphis, and that's where he met Marcus Winchester, the mayor of Memphis, and they became really, really great friends for the rest of his life.
Wow. Well, it's just amazing. So how long, Scott? I know you've written other books now. Was this one that once you got to Discovery Park and got up in that area and realized all this, and much has been written about David Crockett, as you say in the title of this book, but you discovered a whole lot of things that maybe hasn't been told about this man, and bring up a lot of things that are really going to surprise some people.
Well, hopefully I contributed to the overall story of David Crockett and reminded folks, that he was a big part of West Tennessee history, and there's a reason, why we around here celebrate him. He was very much loved the Reelfoot Lake area. He was one of the first hunters there, and he wrote a lot about Reelfoot Lake. And, just really was an outdoorsman. And that's the reason, I didn't even put two and two together and realize, the Boone and Crockett Club.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Roosevelt was a huge Crockett fan.
Yes,
had written a lot about him and even dressed like him sometimes. So that was a fun aspect of it as well. And so I just wanted to make sure that we laid claim a little bit to our West Tennessee icon here, David Crockett.
And what are you going to say, Gene?
Yeah, I was going to tell you, I forget how many years ago it was, but we had a David Crockett boat on the Mississippi River. We went from Obion all the way down
Somebody
to
constructed a boat that...
it's one of them you push along with the poles.
Pole pusher, yeah.
But they had a TWRA boat pushing it, and we dressed out in our mountain man outfits and rode the boat.
Because Gene is big into rendezvous, and of course that's what he was. And to think about, you said this is not a chronological biography of the life of David Crockett. You've put it into terms that people like to see. There's been books, there have been plays, there have been songs, there have been paintings and woodcut illustrations. But this had to be maybe a fun thing. I know there's nothing he writing a book, but he was a common man. So, how long did it take you to do this?
You know what? It took a couple years.
Yeah.
I would do. I did it as a labor of love, and it was absolutely a blast. Writing a book for me and researching a book is like reading one from the inside out.
I know it is. Yes. Yeah.
It's just so much fun. And this topic, I didn't know if you've got to really like the topic that you're working on. And so I started off just exploring and not knowing, am I going to actually follow through, or am I just
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, I just absolutely just fell in love with the topic and with the time and the period. And of course, by doing this, I learned more about this area that I have just moved into, Northwest Tennessee, and what an amazing place it is for hunting and fishing.
Yes,
and
yeah.
What a heritage. And there's a Davy Crockett Hunting Club, which is the duck hunting club, which is one of the most prestigious still in the nation. So that's cool too. And
we got Scott Williams on, the president and CEO of Discovery Park of America. And so, folks, you can go to therealdavidcrockett.com, right? Therealdavidcrockett.com.
That's right.
To find out about the book. Is the book available right now, Scott?
It is. It's available on Amazon.com.
There you
can
go.
Search it there, too.
Okay, let's do that. So
also, we got David Crockett State Park.
We do have David
And
Crockett.
That's right.
We have David
right.
Crockett Days in August.
And we have those. All right.
Let me throw my one, David Crockett.
Come on in.
All right, you got 2 minutes.
Okay. Years ago I was in Washington, D.C. Inside the National Archives, looking where they have the Constitution and the Declaration, and display cases, with different artifacts in it.
Mm-hmm.
And, they had, Robert E. Lee's, letter where he, resigned from the Union, to go to Virginia. But there was a letter penned by Crockett. And, he was like I said, a big proponent of the common man.
Yes.
And this letter, the gist of it was he was proposing the abolishment of West Point because he said it was only a school you had to be privileged to get in it.
Yeah, that's
the
right.
Common man. But here is this beautiful cursive writing. I mean, it was, it just, put me in awe. He was doing it with a quill and ink,
Oh, yeah.
Not a ballpoint pen, but the the feather quill pen.
Right.
And this writing was excellent.
So
and
you think he did it then? You think he wrote that?
I think he did it. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, what he also did was because he was in a battle with Andrew Jackson and they hated each other.
Yeah.
The Whigs really wanted Davy Crockett to succeed, and so they oftentimes helped him construct some of what he was saying, and so they could have also had somebody help write that. So he definitely used his assets well.
Well, we got to get out here, and Scott. So what's going on, real quickly? Tell us what's going on at Discovery Park. A lot of things, I know, this weekend.
Oh yeah, we always have things going on at Discovery Park. We always have temporary exhibits, and of course we've got our antique tractor show coming up August 6th and 7th.
There you go.
We've got a Southern Heritage Arts and Crafts Festival September 25th and 26th, and then Pumpkin Village starts the whole month of October.
Woo,
so
Pumpkin
always
Village.
something to do here.
Always fun. Scott, thank you, buddy. Scott Williams, always appreciate you having on. We'll stay in touch, okay, man?
Sounds great. Thank you. See you later.
Can't wait to read it. All right, thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
All right, let's take a break. Come back and close this baby out with a little commentary from the Daryl and Daryl. We'll be right back.